Hey there, welcome to this video. Vorsprung durch Technik.
We've all heard this phrase in commercials. You've seen it somewhere, or if you like cars, you know that it has been an Audi's signature phrase since the 70s. But what is the actual meaning of this phrase?
Progress through technology. The true progress and change toward the future of the industry are reflected in technological, social, economic, and ecological advances. But to create a real change and progress, a framework with long and short-term planning is necessary to set the goals of the company in different areas.
This framework is Audi's Sustainable Development Goal.
What is an SDG and what is its purpose?
The Sustainable Development Goals are 17 connected goals that aim to plan short and long-term solutions to create a better and more sustainable world for all. The Sustainable Development Goals not only include environmental sustainability issues, but also address health, well-being, justice, and prosperity.
The UN Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals provides a blueprint for dignity, peace, and prosperity for people and the planet, now and in the future. In order for the agenda to work, it is implemented by many mega companies such as Audi, bringing as a result positive change in different areas set out in the agenda.
Audi's framework of short and long-term solutions is divided into several areas which are in charge of carrying out the projects that address each of the goals of the agenda. All of this is represented by a sustainability diagram where the core areas are strategy, operations and integrity, products and services, value creation and production, and employees and society.
From the core areas established in the sustainability diagram, Audi starts to create solutions for specific sustainable development goals by creating sub-core areas which establish specific frameworks for short and long-term solutions.
Audi has progressed through technology because unlike other car makers around the world, this one has the most extensive frameworks on sustainable development with a vision for a better world.
His main goal is to reduce his carbon footprint by around 30% by 2025 and to become carbon neutral by 2050. To achieve this, they have created a strategy based on several means, based on authenticity. As a car manufacturer, Audi has a big responsibility. Their actions are decisive for everyone's future. Sustainability is not a trendy topic that will disappear from the agenda. Audi committed to the goals of the Paris Agreement, which aims to limit the global rise in temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius compared with pre-industrial levels. It is important to know that making a contribution to this as a brand is a monumental task, and there are different ways to reach this goal. With their new provocative commercial Let It Go, they aim to attract international attention. Let go of the past with a new global brand campaign, claiming that everyone is a part of the movement, hence every contribution matters. The strategy is mainly based on electrification. The future is electric. They enhance electric sector by making the SUV customers' favorite product hybrid. Electric is becoming practical and is not a luxury anymore. Therefore, Audi created a wide electric car model portfolio for each group of customers, representing 40% of the brand sales. However, sustainable actions are not just about the cars. Audi has developed different means like the Mission Zero, which is an environmental program to reduce Audi's footprint by making all Audi sites carbon neutral by 2025. We also find closed loops like the aluminum one. The aluminum sheet offcuts that are produced in the press shops are sent directly to the supplier, which then processes and recycles them. That way, Audi is reusing these reprocessed aluminum sheets in the production process. They also set up photovoltaic roof systems on their sites, the biggest one being in Győr in Hungary. Even if Audi is making a big part of the sustainable job, it could not do everything by itself, and they need the support of their partners, politicians.
I think we can summarize Audi's sustainable strategy with these three main ideas: engage, empower, and educate. As I said before, Audi has a great responsibility. This is why those actions are so important. These two graphs show the results of Audi's sustainable strategy. Therefore, we can see that the group will considerably increase its consumption of renewable energy and lower its fuel use. Renewable energies will, on long term, completely replace fossil ones.
I'm going to present the operations and integrity part of the Audi Sustainable Development Goals. The first goal is about the operating return on sales. It's going to start from 9 to 11% from 2030. And the measure is about the implementation of the Audi transformation plan and the Audi strategy. The date is a continuous development. It means that it's constantly being taken care of. The second goal is over 21% return on investment as a strategic target. So it's also about the merger of implementation of the Audi transformation, and it's also about a continuous development that is starting from now. The third goal is from 6 to 10% research and development ratio as a strategic target. It means that it's more about the research. It's to try to find new things to improve the strategy, and it's also about the continuous development that it's constantly improving. The fourth goal is about the ratio of the strategic target. It means that it also have to improve the involvement in the target and in the research that's being constantly involved. It's a bit similar than the precedent. And so furthermore, the fifth goal is about the self-finance of the transformation to provider of sustainable individual premium mobility, and it's also about the continuous development of the strategy of Audi.
Regarding employees in society, Audi embraces diversity by implementing equal opportunity for everyone with diverse backgrounds, competences, and skill are what makes success possible in the first place. Audi aims to ensure that its employees can optimally unleash their potential regardless of their cultural backgrounds. So we can ask how Audi goes in this regard. So it promotes gender equality and empowering women. Long-term inclusive and sustainable economic growth with a full and productive employment. Promotion of equal opportunity helps to ensure continued economic success and social cohesion. Fair working conditions through collective bargaining agreements involving the unions and management at all manufacturing sites. Audi undertakes to ensure that part-time and full-time employees receive equal pay. Health and safety. Audi employs an integrating occupational safety system to minimize work-related accidents and to improve the health resources for its workforce. In particular, the company has intensified its advisory services on mental health. Audi also has a huge flow of knowledge. It plans to bring thousands of electrified models into the market by 2025. That requires expertise, which Audi employees acquire through specific tailored training and development programs. It has set goals for 2030 with no exhaust emissions in the air, with an electric mobility, which is meant to benefit everyone's wealth and well-being. And education is fundamental for human right and the key to sustainable development of society, but also a sustainable economic development with social, environment, and economic goals through the Environmental Foundation, with which is a 10-year commitment. This foundation focuses on the promotion and development of the innovative, environmentally compatible technologies, as well as measures for the environmental protection. This latter is based on the principle of greennovation. So this is the idea to combine traditional environmental protection with new technologies.
We'll now be talking about the value creation and production. So, as a major industrial corporation, Audi is aware of its obligation towards society and the environment. So, as a result, throughout the entire value creation and product production process, Audi uses its impact to fulfill these obligations. So, I will now be talking about a few goals that Audi has put in place in order to become more sustainable in this sector. So, the first goal is to integrate sustainability into supplier relationships. So, they do so by, for example, having involvement in industry and or group tools to ensure compliance with environmental related and social standards in the supply chain. This is still today in continuous development. The second goal is to integrate sustainability into the supply of raw materials with the development of circular economy concept for the supply chain by, for example, focusing on aluminium. This goal was achieved in 2020. The third goal is successive decarbonization of the supply chain together with suppliers by, for example, anchoring use of green electricity in the supply chain. This is in continuous development. The fourth goal is involvement of sales in implementing Audi sustainability strategy. So, with, for example, the completion of a sustainable conference building at Munich Airport, which is the brand center, with the use of sustainable building components. So the fifth goal is for them to reduce in disposable waste and but most of all, reduce overall energy consumption at the production sites by 25% per reference units. The base year was in 2010. They measure this with detailed planning and implementation of site-specific packages of measures for achieving a group-wide reduction targets. Seventh goal is systematic reduction in energy consumption, with the reduction in energy consumption by setting goals based on last year's consumption. And finally, the last goal I will talk about is all plants CO2 neutral. So by doing so, they did a detailed planning and implementation, site-specific packages of measures for achieving targets by 2025.
Regarding products and services, Audi believe that sustainable mobility can change the world for the benefit of all. That's why they are helping to shape the future today with progressive technologies, passionate creativity, and visionary commitment for years to come. Their goal is to establish a resilient infrastructure to promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization. They constantly seek out useful innovations, partner with events and startups around the world, and use their brand awareness to promote new solutions. To continue, these are the reasons that represent what Audi is doing in order to be as sustainable as they can. One of their first goals is to reduce CO2 emissions from the Audi Europe new car fleet by 27%. In order to achieve this, they reduce consumption by using new technologies from the modular efficiency. Second goal is to reduce environmental impact from across the entire life cycle compared with the predecessor model. In order to do this, they prepare project-based life cycle assessment for new vehicles models. Also, they want to significantly reduce fuel consumption for every new vehicle compared with the predecessor model by switching 70% of new vehicles sold with combustion engines to plug-in hybridization. To expand the range of electric drive concepts, they started in 2020 to expand the range of plug-in hybrids to 7 Audi models. The goal for 2023 is to expand the availability for compact class or higher, and by 2025 they want 40% of new Audi vehicles to feature an electric drive. To ensure the availability of fast charging infrastructure along long-distance transport routes in Europe and in the US, they will implement infrastructure expansions in cooperation with partners such as the Ionity joint venture in Europe and Electrify America in the US to encourage electric vehicles. As their sixth goal, they'd like to extend the charging infrastructure at the Audi sites, and to do this, they will set up and operate by 2023 charging infrastructure at Audi sites for the start of the production of the Audi e-tron. To conclude, by 2025, Audi plans to electrify all core model lines. To achieve this, goal measures and technical modules that reduce the fuel consumption of internal combustion engines and lower CO2 emissions will be pooled in a modular e-drive concept. The long term is to create a carbon neutral world, which Audi also intends to help bring about.
They not only propose solutions, but they have a framework and timeline in place to meet their sustainable development goals on time and create a positive impact on the world without being too late.
Therefore, it can be concluded that yes, indeed, Audi is progressing through technology, because in addition to using technology to further ecological advances in its products, it has huge social advances as well in the working environment, gender equality, and everything that is included in the framework based on the UN Agenda of 2023.
Audi is just one example of how a company can integrate SDGs in its development projects. What do you think as an spectator? Don't you think that all companies in the world should have development goals based on the UN agenda?
So, Manny, in conclusion, what are your thoughts about Audi's SDGs?
Well, I think that it's super important in that every global company such as Audi should have such frameworks to forward sustainable development goals in their companies and to help make the world a better place to live.
I completely agree.
Right?
Right.
Perfect.
Ooh, can't add that. You gotta be